Good afternoon. Well, the last of my trilogy on this Monday afternoon, this wonderfully wet, rainy July afternoon. I have a wonderful Gill Wright. So, good afternoon, Gill.
Good afternoon, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for accepting. So, we are live in the Facebook group. Hopefully, Justine might give me the thumbs up that we're in live in the Facebook group. Wonderful. Okay. So, anybody watching, any questions, we'll try and monitor or put them in here. Good afternoon, Justine. So this is our Monday afternoon, the frequently asked questions. These were the Zoco member put under the spotlight, under my fierce spotlight, and they ask the frequently asked questions of his or her industry or profession. We all have them. Those questions are always asked to us, okay? And Jill has sent me the questions, which is great, okay? In fact, Lorraine did, but Deborah didn't. So I appreciate that. My first question, which you did not know about, let me pin you and pin me. My first question is, can you tell me about your networking journey and what brought you to Zoco?
Oh, right. Okay. My network. Oh, I've been networking for the past, how many years now? Probably since about 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So a long time, not obviously face to face to start with. And I'm based in Leeds, in Yorkshire, West Yorkshire. So it was all face to face stuff. And then obviously things petered out, and then lockdown kind of hit because it all petered out. And then I discovered the power of Zoom and all the lovely, wonderful meetings I could do on Zoom. So I networked basically all over the world and the length and breadth of the UK. And somehow or other, I discovered you. And I think it was because I was on Peppercorn networking, speed networking. And Brooke Henders said, "Oh, have you heard of Zoom?" And I went, "No, I haven't. Very interesting name. I think I'd like to meet Nick. And then I think I'd like to find more about it." And so here we are today.
And you reached out and you wanted to have a one-to-one with me first of all, didn't you, to find out what it's all about?
Yep, I did indeed, yeah.
And obviously I said the right words and then you joined.
I did, yes.
So
you guys are so lovely. You're very welcoming. Everybody's very welcoming, and the fact that I live geographically miles away, I still feel to be part of your community. So that is wonderful. That's congrats, Nick.
Good. Well, I mean, it's an honour to have you. Absolute honour. I mean, I love Yorkshire. I mean, I know lots of people from Yorkshire. I mean, my idol, my hero. Who was my hero growing up, Jill? Come on, I'll give you one guess. Being a mad cricket fan. Oh, come on.
I'm not a sports person.
No, you must. He transcends sport, Jill. He is Mr. Yorkshire, I tell you. Sir Jeff Boycott, I tell you. An absolute legend, I tell you. So it's something about Yorkshire. I've been a few times. There's something about Yorkshire. Lots of expression about Yorkshire. The one that I you can what is it? You can tell a lot about Yorkshire, but you can't tell her much. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Yes, but I'm not originally a Yorkshire woman, you see. I'm an honorary Yorkshire woman, so I wasn't born here.
Well, anyway, on to business, because it's all about business, finding out about you. Well, I forgot one question. I forgot the last two ladies. I won't forget to ask you at the end of it, okay? So, number one, I'm not going to go with number one. I'm going to surprise you by going straight to number 10. First of all, good afternoon, Teresa, all the way from Texas. Lovely to see you. Welcome. Texas, Leeds, Richmond. I mean, you know, we are the world is that. The world's our lobster, isn't it? Let's face it. Question number 10. I love question number 10. What are your top 3 tips to help people begin to create a positive mindset? We all want a positive mindset. We all crave a positive mindset. What are your 3 tips to get one?
Okay, focus on what you do want rather than what you don't want. So if I say to you to close your eyes, and this is, you've got to follow my instructions now.
I'm ready. Okay.
Don't think of a pink elephant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now, don't think of a pink elephant with flowers all over it.
Mine's dancing, by the way.
See what I mean? The fact that I said don't, your brain's gone, oh, I'll think about that. The brain doesn't recognize don't. So if you're saying things like to yourself, oh, I don't want to end up in a dead end business. I don't want this, and I don't want to end up in debt, and I don't want the bad things to happen to me. I don't want the next client to cancel on me. You know, you will get that because the brain thinks in, oh, he wants that, or they want that.
Okay, and that is very much to do with your business. I mean, you're Gill Wright, the mindset team. So tell me about Gill Wright and tell me about the mindset team.
Okay. So yeah, I've been a member of the mindset team since 2009. And the mindset team was developed, was created by a wonderful lady called Vicky Fordell. And let me go back to the beginning. She over 35 years ago, 33 years ago it was, she'd just come out of an abusive relationship. And over 35 years ago, there wasn't much kind of information around about abuse at that time. But she did some research. Her girlfriend said to her, "You're in an abusive relationship." And she turned around and said, "Well, he never hit me. He just threw a couple of knives at me, but I was very good at ducking," she said. And the girlfriend said, "Well, it's actually abuse, that." And she went, "Oh, right, okay." So she went along to a talking therapy and talked to this lady, this psychotherapist. And Vicky turned around and says, "Well, when am I going to be done talking about it? I've learned a lot about it, but how do I change?" And the lady says, "Well, you'll be talking about this for the next 15 years. To which Vicky said, "I've learned a lot. Thank you very much for your time." And on she went, and she went on a merry way. She then went on a bit of a quest then to try and figure out how she could change this pattern within her, because she learned it was a pattern and didn't know how to change this pattern. And she didn't want to attract another abusive partner, because that was the pattern that they created within her. Over time, others' influences, people had said to her, everything kind of is a melting pot in your brain of what others have said to you and have said about you. So, and what you've learned from others. So her lesson was to learn about abuse. So what happened then was she went on to a bit of a quest to learn about how she could change her patterns and then maybe help others then change their patterns. So she happened to come across a neurosurgeon, obviously how the brain worked, a chiropractor who knew about the mind-body link, and herself being a very insightful lady. The three of them got together. She was the guinea pig, and given time, trying lots of different methodologies, they came across a wonderful way of engaging the brain to make changes. And then they tried her on, they used her as a guinea pig to start with. And then over time, her pattern started changing. And to this day, she's in a wonderful, now in a wonderful relationship. Not a hint of abuse, etc. The neurosurgeon went off and to retire. I think he went off fishing to Alaska with his wife. And the chiropractor says, "Well, they think this is more your bag, Vicky. You run with this." So she paid them $1 each. And then they went off their merry way. And then she refined and defined it over the last 30 years. She worked on hundreds of different clients and refined it to what it is today. So the mindset team was actually born in about 2007, somewhere 6, 7, something like that. I was on board as a client to start with. And this is where another question comes in. I'll answer all of your questions in a minute. And that's kind of how it was born, really, because she got inundated with clients and wanted, obviously, to spread it to reach more people. So she invited some of her clients to train as specialists in the kind of work that we do. And so that's where I came in and was a client. And then I trained, and then I started working with clients about 2009.
Mm-hmm. And you had mindset. You had a mindset that needed working on, did you?
Oh, yes. Very much so, yes. The person you see today is very different to the person then.
we don't explore that anymore, do we, online, presumably?
I'll share my story. Yeah, I was a single parent with 2 teenagers struggling in all aspects of my life. And my eldest and I would, kids are very good at knowing parents' weak points, and they're very good at pressing their parents' buttons. Yeah. And so if a parent is insecure or takes it personally, that most parents take what their kids take personally. It's just a given, you know. The kids are very, very good at that. And so I just would get, I went hook, like a line and sinker into her stuff every time. So we'd have these humdingers of arguments. She'd press my buttons, I'd press hers, and it'd be like woof, Vesuvius moments. Meals would go flying across the table, up the wall, and things would go flying in the kitchen. And it was just, I was very good at playing the victim. So I used to go, oh, it was me, run up into the bedroom. She was mortified, obviously, but it was just like, I didn't want to know. It was not good. So that's kind of where I was coming from in the noughties. And it was a bit of a tough time, really, because it's very energy draining when you have one of these arguments. It's just like, I'd run off to my friend for a cup of chamomile tea, or she'd give me some Reiki and stuff. And I felt great for a little while, but then Monday morning it hit again and the whole thing would start all over again. Because I learned that I couldn't change her, I had to change me.
Yep.
So I tried all sorts of different manner of things. I'd go on weekend workshops, I'd get these wonderful techniques of people would hand me books and things, and it was great knowledge. I learned so much. But when you're in the throes of an argument, you can't just sort of stop and say, hold that thought a minute, let me just check this technique and apply it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. You know, you're in there, going to give you your all. Says, don't you speak to me like that. How dare you speak to me like that? I'm your mother. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I mean, two things. First of all, is there, certainly our last two guests we've had today, we talked about spirituality quite a lot, and you touched upon it a little bit there. Does spirituality play a part in your job?
Well, yeah, because we work on every aspect of a person. To negate one aspect of a person is to negate all of them. So just going back to my story quickly, somebody then handed me a mindset team card. They said, you need to speak to Vicky. So which eventually I got around to doing it. And then the rest is history, because I learned to listen. I became more engaged in parenting in a positive way, but I improved my confidence, my self-worth. So whatever the kids threw at me, verbally, I didn't take it personally, because I was growing my own personal empowerment. And that's the key with everything. You can't change anybody else when you change yourself. And then you change your response to what other people then when you grow your own personal empowerment.
I get that totally, absolutely. You can't control what they're thinking or saying. It's all about you, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah.
No,
So
I asked about spirituality. Does spirituality play a part in your business?
Yes, of course it is. Yeah. We work on physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of a client within a session.
And your client, I mean, who are you talked about an abused client earlier. Who are your typical clients? Do you have a typical client? What kind of person? What kind of problems do they have?
It varies. It really does, because I do a lot of business networking. Then sometimes people come from a business perspective, so they know maybe that they're holding themselves back in some way. They feel that bit of imposter syndrome creeping in. They feel like they're lacking in confidence, brain fog, lacking in clarity. And then we've got others that, because we're working as a team, clients come from other ways as well. And so I've got one lady that's come on board that came from a very checkered past. She feels that her childhood, where she was brought up, is really affecting her. And she can't find passion in her life because she's so snowed under with her past and everything that's happened to her. She's so afraid of becoming somebody that took care of her. So she kind of puts a bit of a lid on everything, holds herself back.
Okay, I mean, again, please forgive me for jumping it down. It's how my brain works.
Fine, it's all right. It's a conversation, you mean, Nick? Yeah,
exactly. It's much easier that way. So, I mean, what is mindset? I mean, it's quite a big question. But what is mindset?
What is mindset? Okay, so I've got a bit of a definition here that was coined by Vicky. So you can throw me questions in after this, but this is what she said. Your mindset is the thoughts that you have and how you think those thoughts and the actions you take with the thinking of those thoughts. So mindset is also getting the thoughts that you want in order to get what you want, instead of what you are thinking. So it goes back to the pink elephant that we talked about at the beginning.
There he's again, God.
Yeah, that pink elephant again. So for example, give you an example here. Somebody looks at their bank account, or your kids ask for something, and they want something and you can't afford it. So your whole train of thought goes into, well, I can't afford that. I don't have the money. If I don't have the money, then I'm not good enough. And the whole train of thought goes in, I can't, whatever. So we end up having 10 thoughts about the money we don't have, and only one thought, I wish I had more money. So that's where the brain comes in. Well, about not is that the don't. So you get what you don't want, in other words. So if we were to flip it on the head and change the thoughts into, and had more thoughts about the money that you will attract, then you start to attract the money that you want, and you then get what you want, rather than what you're just thinking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. But the problem is people's brain, the brain is naturally hardwired to think in survival mode. So we naturally think in negative terms as a self-preservation. So if there's more negative thoughts in the brain, then the brain will focus more on the negatives because it's a self-preservation. But then if you were to readdress the balance and have more positive thoughts, then the brain would more likely to seek out those positive thoughts. So imagine the brain was like a glass of water. So a lot of people carry stuff in their brains. It's just a given, isn't it? Lots of past experiences and stuff like that. It's just a given. So all that is like a bit murkiness, a bit sludge at the bottom of the glass. So, and then there's some beautiful clear stuff as well, because not everything that's happened to in life is bad. But what happens is when we get particularly stressed or things aren't going so well for us, like the pandemic, for instance, and we feel out of control, then that murkiness kind of just gets messed around, and it negates it. We lose the lovely clear stuff because the murkiness comes and you know what I mean, it shrouds all the beautiful positivity that we've got in our brains. So instead of then, because the brain is pretty full of all stuff, so instead of just trying to put positivity in a brain that's already full of stuff, it's a bit like water off a duck's back. It just pours over the edges of the glass and it doesn't sit very deep. So that murkiness is still there no matter what is going on in life. So it's great, you know, Friday morning, Friday afternoon feeling, you know, everything is well, we're on holiday and the sun is shining, everything's great. But if we got a stressful situation, then that murkiness tends to come up to the surface and it tends to cover all the lovely positivity we've got. And it's hard work staying positive when things aren't going so well. So what we do with our mindset training, our neuroplasticity activation technique, shortened to NAT, what we do is actually session by session with our clients, we tip some of the murky out, which then creates a bit of space in the brain, in the glass of water, then to pour some fresh in, which is the positivity. The following week, we'll tip a bit more of the negativity out and then replace it with fresh, the clear water. And so given time, the brain naturally becomes clearer, and then people naturally discover their own strengths through a journey of self-discovery with us, and then they naturally become more confident, more self-assured, more empowered, and they are more happy to be themselves.
That makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a very, very positive thinking mother. I get that. I get my attitude. But I mean, there are some people who just, whatever you seem to do, just cannot shake this negativity about them. I mean, you know, everybody could be a client. Everybody can change, can't they?
Yeah.
They just need the right tools, don't they?
They do, yeah. And the criteria that Vicky had when she developed this with the two of the guys is that it had to work, had to be long lasting, had to be simple, and given time, then the clients could do the work on themselves. So our whole remit is to be able to help people change and just be themselves, you know, and get rid of the stuff that's holding them back.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You mentioned the pandemic earlier, but so I mean, pre-pandemic, were you working online with clients all over the world?
Yeah, we were actually, because Vicky's actually over in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
So the only way I could work with her back in the noughties was either Skype, which was a bit unstable, or phone. So we've always worked with clients. There's a big following in the UK. So we've always worked online with our clients or on the phone.
Mhm.
So, and Zoom since,
Zoom.
yeah. But
Is that
before
good?
then, we used to do WhatsApp video with clients and things. So geography has no restrictions for us at all.
No, of course not.
Mm.
Okay. Well, how do people who are interested in finding out more about your mindset training, how should they contact you, Jill?
Ooh, LinkedIn.
Mhm.
I'm on Facebook.
Mhm.
We have a mindset
Have
team
you got a
page.
couple? Have you got a couple of Facebook pages? You've got a couple of.
Oh, that's
profile.
another story. Yeah, for some
Yeah.
reason I have two profile. Yeah. One got hacked, funnily enough. So we don't talk about that. That's
Okay.
just kind of off meter. So I've invited all my friends, my recent
Okay.
friends, to join.
Okay. So Facebook, you were saying there's a mindset page as well, is there?
Yeah, there's a mindset team page. Yeah.
Okay.
So people can. Yeah, we post a lot of positive stuff on there.
Mhm.
So one of my tips is to, and I learned this phrase a while back, and it's called doom scrolling, apparently. So people just go on their phones and scroll through all the negative stuff that's going on, and it actually is very detrimental to the brain. It's called doom scrolling.
Negative.
So
negative after last night. What could possibly be negative after last night? I mean, come on. Social media is the most glorious place to be today, surely.
Yeah, right. But it's so readily available. At one time, back in my day, you used to sit down, watch the news at 6 o'clock, and that would be it.
Yeah.
But now it's like 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to us to decide what we look at and what we take on and what we choose to focus on.
Mm.
So, it's just, it's just not, it's just somebody said to me, I've come off news apps.
Mm.
And then just focus on what you want. I just tend to go to the highlights of things,
Mm-hmm.
but then I have lots of positive stuff. Like I read the posts from the mindset team every day, and then I share them with everybody. So, and I'm very mindful of what I put in my brain. Because did you know that every image that you see sits in the recesses of the brain?
Okay.
I know. So yeah, watch what films, and it's paying attention to how you're feeling. If you feel okay when you're watching a film or watching the news, then that's fine. But it's paying attention to how you're feeling. If you start feeling a bit off or a bit uncomfortable or a bit, I'm not sure if I like this, and your energy goes down a bit, then it's time to change the channel and look for something positive. So it's being more self-aware. That's the key.
Well, there we are. See, I've got plenty of rugby and cricket in my mind, so I'm fine. That's why I'm happy. So that's fine. Tons and tons and tons of it. What does the next step look like for people who are interested?
Oh, they can contact me on LinkedIn, send me an email, jill@mindsetteam.com, Jill with a G.
Chat's always free. First chat's always free.
Exploratory chat is always free. Yeah, happy to have a 15-minute insight call with somebody for free. And then after that, if people are interested, then they can schedule an intake with me and Vicky, and that's up to an hour of discovery. Vicky likes to meet prospective clients that are potentially coming on board. So we do an hour of asking them questions. They can ask us questions, and we use our insight to help them help them discover what's holding them back, and then we can work on session by session. Then after that, if they choose to want to clear it with us. Well,
I'm going to be coming up to Leeds fairly soon. I want to come and see you. Okay, definitely.
Oh, that'd be great. Bring everybody with you. Oh,
I'm not sure I'm bringing everybody with me, but bring your
girlfriend with you. That would be nice. It'd be nice to meet you. Have a weekend together in Leeds, and we can meet for coffee.
Yeah, we need to rugby. Tiny northern trip up to rugby. But anyway, so welcome to Justin and Teresa back in the room. Do you have any questions for Jill whilst you are here? Justine, far away. Unmute yourself.
I think Teresa was about to start asking.
No, I'm okay. Well, no, I just told you I loved it. Thank you, Jill.
Go on, Jill. You first, Justine, and then Teresa.
Oh, we're fighting over you, Jill. I've actually just put a comment on the Facebook live to say I'd love to book a one-to-one with you to talk a little bit more about the structure of how it all works. So are you and the mindset team, are you all independent coaches, or do you all work under the umbrella with Vicky?
We work for and with Vicky. Yeah, we're part of the team. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Good.
Mhm.
Good. Okay. And Teresa, I said,
Yes, that was
Texas and Yorkshire. I mean, how more cosmopolitan than that can you get?
yes, absolutely. So yes, I was going to ask the same question. So you can access my team page,
Mhm.
and then what is the page again, please?
Sorry, you
The
broke up,
mindset.
Teresa. You broke
Oh,
up. Sorry.
The
okay.
the Facebook page. It is the Mindset Team Facebook page. Yes.
Yeah. Are we connected, Teresa?
Well,
Yes, I think so.
Well, I'll put the
Yeah,
link.
yeah.
I'll put the link of the page underneath. I mean, the page is in the Zuko group, I presume. So I'll put the page underneath. Don't worry.
Smashing. Thank you,
Yeah,
Nick.
yeah, no, yeah, no problem at all. So,
Yeah.
well, it's nearly 4:30. I mean, as I said, I do some conversation. We had a one-to-one, and we scratched the surface, and I could talk to you forever. And even now, we've just scratched the surface of what you do. Fascinating. I love
Thank
your
you.
again. I mean, I just click with people's energy, and you're open, you're bubbly, you're lovely. So, I mean, it's so lovely to chat to you. Thank you so much, Jill. I loved every second. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks,
Okay.
Nick.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Now,
Thank
let
you.
me turn